Welcome back to the Travel Agency New Year podcast. My name is Rachel Kay, your host, travel advisor, helping you build your travel business for free with crazy episodes, crazy short episodes while you're driving to pick up kids from school or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. All right. So we talked about the content calendar yesterday. Today's episode's piggybacking off of it. And we're going to talk about content batching because everyone will say you need to batch your content. It's going to be the most efficient. There's different ways you can batch your content. And I do talk about this in the Success Circle as well. Sidebar. Oh gosh, I'm dating myself. By the way, head over to elevatewithrachelk.com and check out the Success Circle. It's $35 a month. Cancel at any time. Monthly subscription, 12-month program. So it's like not expensive. And a lot of the things we talk about in the podcast has like further video lessons and accompanying workbooks, just so you know. So what works for you in terms of batching content? First of all, are you doing video content or are you doing strictly written content? Question, are you doing both? I don't know. What are you doing? And you also need to think about your productivity levels. I will talk about what I do, but some people can focus on things like one task for hours at a time. The majority of us cannot do that. Okay. I think it's 90 minutes on average is what people can focus on a single task before they need a break. So, what works for you? I know there's a lot of us that are like neurospicy. It's fine. So maybe you are hyper focused for several hours on something and that's what works for you. And then you don't think about it for a week. But if you're like me, I like to do, and I think I've talked about this way back in the beginning of the podcast with the daily schedule and time blocking. I like to do like 60 to 90-minute segments of doing tasks every day. And I treat it kind of like elementary school, like boom, first thing in the morning, I have like CEO time. And then I have, I'm trying to think of my calendar for my travel agency off the top of my head. So on Mondays, I've got CEO time where I review the data, whatever from the previous week and make decisions of do it this week, or this is something I can do at the end of the quarter, or when we slow down next year at this time. Just depends on what it is, right? Anyway, I've got that. And then I check emails at 11 a.m. Nope. No, I check emails at 10 a.m. on that day. And then 11 a.m., I have an agency non-mandatory Google Meet that people can hop on, hop off, and we'll talk shop. And then I do lunch. So that's blocked off on my calendar. And then I do content writing ideas. I just write down my ideas for content. And then I check my emails at 3. And then between 2 and 3, I do live Q&As for elevatewithrachelk.com students. And then I check my email 3 again. And then I'm done by 4. But 90% of the time, my live Q&As go over. So I'll glance at my emails during the live Q&A and be like, we're fine. I'll look at this later. But that is kind of how my day is structured. And I do a little bit of content creation every single day, including recording these. I record anywhere from like on average 5 episodes a day of this podcast until it's all done. So that's fine. So what works for you? Do you want to have one day a week where all you do is create all of your content, start to finish, and just block off 4 hours on your schedule? Or are you more, and you sidebar, like you can still break it up too. Like you can be like Mondays is marketing day, M is marketing, Monday is marketing, and you can make it a 4-hour day. I would check emails in the morning for clients and I'd check emails in the afternoon after you do your 4 hours of marketing, right? And I would have like a lunch break in between for the marketing. But you could do first hours, write out all your ideas that you have. Make sure you've got or review your content calendar if you don't have your ideas. You know what I mean? Like if you have them all written out. Then the second hour is you could film all of the content that you want to film in that hour, whatever you can get in that hour, and check that off your content calendar that it's done. And then the next hour, you could write everything and have drafts ready to go for your email newsletter or posts or whatever, and start scheduling it all out. Now, I know with like written posts, as you write them, you have to schedule it when you're finished writing. So that's kind of confusing. But hour 4 would be scheduling the videos, editing, scheduling, getting the captions up. Kind of an example of how you could do that all in one day and still break it up. So you need a space with good lighting. There was several episodes way back at the beginning where I had to film these at night, and I was like, I'm just gonna look like a goblin, and I had no makeup on, and it was terrible LED overhead lighting, and no makeup, and this horribly ugly old sweater that I just can't get rid of because it's warm and it's comfortable, and I was like, this is just happening. So don't do that. Don't do that all the time. You want to make sure you've got good lighting. Wherever you are filming content, the easiest thing to do is to face a very sunny window. You can also get a ring light and have it facing, but you don't want light behind you. That's going to cause shadows over your face. You want to make sure you got a comfy seat. This is a swivel chair. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, this is a little swivelly chair that I got from Amazon. It is super comfortable. I think it's a set of 2. I have another one over here. I think it was a set of 2 for like $200 or something ridiculous. And they are like so comfy. Okay. And then you want to make sure you've got a place to like rest your elbows if you're filming anything. For me, if this is for like filming and photographing yourself, you're probably not going to photograph yourself in your office, most likely, or wherever your content space is. I can't imagine it. I would imagine travel advisors, most of your photos are going to be some clients' trips or your own travels. But even if you're doing it with your own travels and you're like in the room or the cabin, face the window. Any hoodle. You also want to have a place to like make sure you've got your camera set up, and if you have mics or anything like that, like make sure it's all set up. If you need to add more lighting, plug in your ring light, bring some lamps over. You can make it really easy. Doesn't have to be like studio. There's a podcaster, his name is Theo Vaughn, and Post Malone was on an episode recently, and Post Malone's like, how did you do this and get so big? And he's like, dude, I filmed this above my garage. I don't know. So most podcasts you're listening to are just in random spaces in people's homes. Okay. When you are writing your content or creating any kind of video content, please keep in mind you are speaking to your ICA. So you want to make sure, hopefully, you are relatable to them in the language you are using, which is why I was making fun of myself earlier, because I'm just like full on millennial speak. And I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. You also want to have a place that's preferably 0 distractions, but little distractions. So you kind of want to treat it. In previous episodes, we were talking about communication and active listening. Treat it as though you're on a client call, but you're just like talking to them and you're just like, I'm the coolest person. You should hire me. That's what everyone sounds like, apparently. You don't want a whole lot of distractions. You don't want, like, hopefully your cats or pets aren't fighting in the background, or children. You kind of want it to be quieter. You don't want to have your phone out unless you need the phone for images, but like have your phone on silent. I love having all notifications on silent except for the closest people in my life. If they text me, I get a sound for them. That's it. There's like less than my hand number of people that have a sound. And then the app that I use to communicate for people in destination traveling. Those are there's a handful of people, and then travelers. Those are the only sounds my phone makes. I do not know about emails unless I check them. I don't hear someone calling me I only see the screen light up, and if it's a contact in my phone, I'm going to answer it if I have time. But if it's a random number, I'm not answering that call. Like, I highly recommend all notifications off on your phone for the most part. And like when I'm doing these, my phone is on the charger somewhere because this is time for you. This is time for me to record these for you to listen. Okay. You should do the same thing. But I understand short form, you got to have your phone to record things. Okay. Make time for editing and scheduling and posting as well. So earlier I mentioned if you want to break it up all in one day, film everything all at once, edit and schedule out later. But you can do that in the same day. Just break up tasks task by task. Why am I talking about breaking it up task by task, even if you want to have the whole day be batch content creation? I used to have a cleaning business. Oh my gosh. Founded over a decade ago because that's where I'm at in life. Anyway, and our clients we had commercial clients, we had property management companies, we had a ton of residential, and we could always get things done so much quicker. And everyone would be like, how do you do this? And because we were so much quicker, we charged $35 an hour, but we didn't take as much time as the average, like our competition, including property management companies. So you don't need to know any of this information, but I'm going to tell you anyway. A lot of property management companies will hire out various cleaners to do the make readies, turnovers for when someone leaves an apartment, right? And they pay a flat rate 90% of the time. And so like a one bedroom, $65. So in my head, I was like, that's like 90 minutes to clean or something like that. That's under 2 hours that we have to clean. So I quickly discovered very early on in my business, before I even hired on any maids to start cleaning for me, doing things task by task is super, super efficient. Like if you're only running payments, only run payments until they're all done. Then take a 5-minute break. If you're only checking emails, don't have any social media tabs open to distract you. Only answer the freaking emails and go on. Okay. If you're doing travel docs and itineraries, just focus on that, nothing else. Then you can call people back. You can check your emails again later, but task by task, instead of trying to record a reel, let's say, instead of recording a reel, writing the captions, writing the hashtags, editing the reel, and then scheduling it to be posted all at once, every time you switch tasks adds more time. Like literally, like if you are just checking emails and switch to answer a phone call, which is a task, that adds 15 minutes to you finishing answering your emails, even if the call is only 5 minutes. Okay. So it's much more efficient if you want to have multiple reels posted for a while. Film them all first and save them as drafts, then go back in, add the captions, and schedule them out later and edit and trim whatever you want to do. Okay, last tip, because I just rambled on. I just want you to see, like, even if you don't want to be a travel advisor anymore, like, this is just kind of standards of operating a business. You may need to hire out for editing. If it's like longer form video, it does take an exceptionally long amount of time to like edit and then export the new video content and then upload it to like YouTube, for example. With these episodes, that is the majority of my time. This episode will probably run around 18 minutes, is my guess. Once I edit it and then download it, that's probably going to be another 18 to 20 minutes for YouTube to like, oh, we've uploaded it and we've offered it in HD and we did the copyright check. It's like, I'm not stealing anything, guy. I'm just talking with very bare bones notes. Guy, YouTube. And then I can schedule it. And if you ever do any long form videos with YouTube, also note if the screen just like times out, you got to start all over again. Have fun with that. So you might look into Upwork or Fiverr for a low cost option to have someone hired out to edit and upload and schedule these for you. You can give them the times and everything. It really depends on the complexity. If you have multiple clips that you want to like I'm talking like clips of you talking in front of the camera in your home office, and then clips like different videos from your phone that have got to be like formatted properly for YouTube, and you want transitions and all those things, like that's going to be a little more complex than having like one clip to edit, or maybe like two clips to edit that are filmed on the same device or type of device. So that was a lot about content batching and efficiency and my old cleaning business and all kinds of things. You should definitely, we've talked about time blocking. So I do recommend that you review, if you've done that, review your time blocking and see what works for you and start setting it up. I like to do an hour a day for marketing stuff and content creation. And then these episodes, like I mentioned earlier, I record 5 on average of these every single day. So I like doing this though. It's kind of fun. All right. Well, if you like this episode, please subscribe if you haven't already. Most of our listeners are not subscribing. That's like half. It's like 50-50 right now. Share this with someone who is like, I hate the idea of batch content creation. Don't worry, I got options for you. And have a great day. See you tomorrow.